Hey folks, this is Rhykker, reporting live from Blizzcon 2019. Diablo 4 has been revealed. It is real, and it is better than I could have ever imagined, at least what we've seen so far. Now, this is the year of the leaks. We've had so many leaks in the past couple of weeks, and most of them have turned out to be true. Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, the whole PvE mode was revealed as well. The WoW Shadowlands expansion, that was revealed as well. Again, I think this is the biggest, best BlizzCon yet with regards to just monumental announcements happening in one BlizzCon. The only leak that hasn't turned out to be true so far is D2 Remaster. I guess they're saving that for next year. Who knows? But in this video, we're going to talk all about D4, what we've seen so far. Opening ceremony, the first panel about it. There's a playable demo happening today. I'm going to resist the urge, folks. I'm going to resist the urge so that when I play it later today on stream from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time, that's an hour later than my regular Twitch Friday night stream time. So you're going to see my genuine first reaction to playing this game. And then tomorrow, there's a ton more panels giving us even more details on D4. But let's take us back to today. In fact, starting last night, signs were being put up around outside of the convention stating something to the effect of, warning, don't bring your kids to the opening ceremonies. Shuttle them off to the separate hall. So right away we're like, okay, this has never happened before. They've never had anything PG or 18 plus in an opening ceremony. Right away we're like, Diablo 4. This morning, we're waiting in opening ceremonies. Things actually started off with an apology. J. Allen Brack came up, apologized, vowed to do better, and said, but don't take our word for it, watch our actions, and we'll try to make our actions reflect that. So that was very surprising. I thought they would not acknowledge anything, no apology, anything. Anyway, then the first thing that they launch into, the very first thing, was a D4 reveal, a cinematic. And it starts off with a vibe that I wasn't expecting. I almost want to say that it's even more dark and horrific than any Diablo game yet. You start off, and it's not a group of heroes. It's a group of tomb raiders, basically, grave robbers. It's almost like a Dungeons and Dragons adventure, a party of something like 3 or 4 people, and they're ruffians. They're going to raid a tomb for gold, and one of them among them is a holy man type, somewhat crazy, muttering prayers to himself. Right away we're getting this dark vibe. Right away, there's no heroes here. This isn't a battle of good versus evil. These are some troubled, gray characters diving into some darkness that they have no freaking clue what they're about to get into. And they start diving in, and then actually the screen spazzes out at the opening ceremony. We get livid just as it was getting to the good part in the cinematic. It's possible those watching the live stream from home, it was all clean, there was no interruption, but for us it seemed like just as it got to like the visceral, gory part, like bam, some weird thing happens and we lose the video feed. We're still hearing the audio, but like the crowd's all like going nuts, upset. We do get the feedback. We lost a good 30 seconds, if not more, but we still were able to understand what was happening. We missed like a fight scene, like a bunch of monsters came up and they fought them off. And then they get into the heart of this creepy dungeon tomb place. And again, everything is just so, it's dark and it's gritty and realistic, and it's very different from Blizzard's typical style, which World of Warcraft has sort of come to exemplify. Those big heroic archetypes, the giant pauldrons, the giant, stylized, exaggerated proportions, the sweeping orchestrals. This was nothing like that. This was like it was like watching a horror movie. It was legitimately like watching a horror movie. And the best part, the cinematics out there, definitely give that a watch. The summoning of Lilith, the mother of the Nephilim, the mother of humanity, who's been banished to the abyss for the longest time. This creepy, dark ritual, self-sacrificing ritual, viscera, gore, intestines, blood being torn out of human bodies to create a blood portal to summon Lilith, and she comes through like an embryo bursting through an amniotic sac. It's gory and disgusting and dark and horrific and intimidating. and magnificent as she emerges through in all her glory, and it completely blew me away. I did not expect them to go anywhere near as dark as they did, and I loved it. I don't know what I was expecting from D4, but it wasn't this, and this has blown me away. Now, as we dove into the subsequent panels, the devs came out and they discussed the disgusting, gory, dark feel that they want to go, the atmosphere, and they've nailed it completely. The concept art that they showed, they have erased everything cartoony, everything that sort of typified typical Blizzard style. This feels arguably more Diablo than Diablo even felt before. But I was getting the semblance, this is the Diablo 3 that we thought we were going to get. This is the true sequel to Diablo 2. We don't have a whole lot of gameplay revealed. There was a good amount, but it's tough to judge gameplay without playing it. But from an aesthetic standpoint, I think there's zero doubt in my mind. They have completely nailed it, completely understood what to do visually, atmospherically with this game. And they said that the dark theme, it's not just in the dark visuals, dark storylines. The good guys don't always win. Sometimes evil wins. Sometimes it's a Pyrrhic victory. All the talking points were just hitting so close to the heart of, like, they understand, like, what Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, what that darkness, what that grit, that gothic, evil, foreboding vibe of Diablo is that people have missed now for a long time. They've just nailed it completely. So far, they've revealed 3 classes. There apparently will be 5 in total, at least at launch. We're not sure about post-launch plans, but 5 classes in total, it sounds like. The 3 they've revealed so far: Barbarian, Druid, and Sorceress. So the Barbarian is going to be that martial warrior archetype. Very happy that they're bringing him back. He's come to exemplify the martial archetype in the Diablo universe. And something really cool, they said gameplay-wise, they're introducing with him. I think they call it the Arsenal system. He could have 4 different weapons equipped. So that's more itemization slots, more customization options. And depending on what attack he's using, he'll draw upon the necessary itemization slot. So I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work, but it sounds like, when you use attack A, he's going to pull out the 2-hander. Attack B, he's going to pull out the dual-wielding, one-handers, or whatever it may be. And so there's going to be one-handers, there's going to be 2-handers, 4 itemization slots there. The Sorceress, the Elementalist, classic Diablo mage, she's going to have the brightest effects. Overall, they said they want the gameplay as well to be dark. So it's not just the art style, but gameplay dark as well. So dark corners are coming back. It's not going to be just the whole map is lit, which will allow the spell effects from the Sorceress to illuminate those dark corners depending on how they shoot out. But overall, they definitely don't want the spell effects to be just bright, flashy colors everywhere like in D3. Then the Druid is looking better than ever. He's got his good boys with him, his 2 little pet wolves, among other things. His shape-shifting sounds like it's going to be better than ever. So in D2, shape-shifting was a little... I don't know if clumsy is the word, but there wasn't a smooth transition going from one shape to another. You're like, okay, I'm in one shape now, poof, I transform into a wolf, and now I have my wolf powers. Seamless shape-shifting is the name of the game. So you're in one form, and then you hit your attack of, like, I don't know, some shape-shifting attack, and you will transform like mid-animation, mid-attack, and then you can pop back into your other form to do a different attack. And I think that's really what we wanted to see from, like, or that's how you evolve the whole shape-shifting thing. The one thing that I think D3 did best is the gameplay feeling so smooth, so crisp, so seamless. And it sounds like they really want, that's like the one thing they want to retain, it seems like, from D3 and even improve upon. And so it sounds like they're getting that. And it's a new engine, so they're able to do new things, upgraded things. Looking through some of the clips that they were showing, I swear I saw Duriel, or a monster that looked a hell of a lot like Duriel. Duriel was like the most traumatizing encounter for me in D2. You just pop through that portal, you're in this confined claustrophobic area with this giant slug monster. The design was a little derpy, but they've improved on it while retaining the overall feel. And he just comes at you with those crazy like Hydralisk hands. But yeah, so Duriel maybe, or some Durielish thing is back. They're definitely paying homage to Diablo 2 in a lot of ways. Just the character select screen, the characters crouching around a campfire. These don't look like a group of heroes like ready to embark on a quest. These look like depressed, like downtrodden, sodden people, like just fed up with the world. Just again, gray heroes is what it looks like to me. But it's a tremendous nod to D2, and they don't even want to have any kind of like text explaining what the classes are. I don't know if they'll end up changing that, but they wanted just the visuals of each of the classes to speak for themselves, and they do. Like from their equipment to their body type to their body language, you can rapidly understand. Okay, this is the barbarian. He's you won't know what, like if you're a new player, you won't know it's called the barbarian, but you look at it and you're like, okay, that's like the melee, tough dude. Okay, that's the spell casting type, and oh, that's the druidy nature guy. Speaking of the druid, one thing that I found a little redundant with the druid in D2 was, okay, he's got spells and like he's sort of like an elementalist, and the sorceress is sort of an elementalist. So it's like there's this weird overlap of like, well, the druid also casts fire spells, and like. So in D4, they're very clearly separating that out. The druid doesn't have fire magic anymore. It's pure earth and storm magic. So you still got your twisters and your lightning bolts, but it's all like calling upon the power of natural storms, natural effects. So cool. It actually reminded me, no one's going to know my reference here, but Shadows of Esteren. It's this tabletop RPG, this dark gothic madness, sort of like Cthulhu-esque madness type of tabletop role-playing game. And I love the world because it's so dark, and it's like a dark take on your standard D&D fantasy setting. And there's like a whole druid land with a dark take on druids, and it seems like this D4 druid is lifted from that. Because the Diablo 2 druid seemed darker than like a World of Warcraft druid, but still not very dark overall. They're going way darker now. Just the visual as well of the werewolf form, these like creepy elongated arms. It's just that extra little bit of darkness and terror, that little horrific vibe. It's not like, it seems that overall the design aesthetic isn't meant to be cool. It is cool, but it's like, first off, creepy, second off cool. Whereas in the past it sort of felt like, especially with D3, it's like everything's meant to look epic. And epic is great, but epic is more WoW. Epic is more other Blizzard properties. Diablo is not meant to be epic. Diablo is meant to be more grounded in reality and evoking of more creepiness. And again, aesthetically they're nailing that. The story apparently is going to be non-linear. It's going to be a pseudo open world. So they're kind of combining adventure mode with campaign, that if you want, you can just play through the campaign straight. But if you want, you can also just play a few campaign missions, then kind of putz off, do some adventure mode stuff, return to the campaign as you see fit, or just skip the campaign missions altogether, it sounds like. There's my understanding is 5 massive open world regions. These will be shared regions, so sort of MMO-y aspects. I don't know how massive, so maybe they never said anything MMO related. They didn't mention MMO at all, so it might not be on a massive scale, but you will run into other players in these open areas. It sounds like dungeons will be instanced and private, or maybe party-wide, but massive scale open areas. They said something like 10 to 20 times larger than areas in D3. So large that they had to introduce a whole mount system, which I know at first blush is like, mounts in Diablo. From what we've seen, it's looking cool. And again, it's looking like it's going to be incorporated into the gameplay very well, to the point that you're going to have mount or dismount abilities. So you're not just mounting around and then you click the button to hop off your mount. You click an attack that like you jump off your horse and do an attack. It's like it's a dishorsing attack. And your mount can have equipment as well that will customize it not only visually, but also you can have like, okay, this gear is going to make your mount faster. This gear will make you take less damage while you're mounted. in case it isn't obvious, it will be an isometric top-down game, classical, like, they stress it's a classic ARPG experience. It'll be coming to PC and console as well. And they said not soon, not even Blizzard soon. I shed a tear. That makes the spring 2021, which was, I thought that would be like their earliest possible release date. That's seeming unlikely now, so it seems we'll have a while to wait, but we don't know for sure. They just said not soon. But they said PC, PS4, and Xbox One. They didn't mention PS5, for instance, so that's a little odd that if it's not going to be releasing very soon, that it's not for next-gen consoles. Story-wise, D4 takes place decades after D3. The world has basically gone to crap after the events of D3. Heaven has shut its gates to Sanctuary, so no more help from the angels, more or less. Just the world is in a garbage place, and now the whole plot line, the whole central plot seems to revolve around the return of Lilith. The open world regions are going to have a day-night cycle, weather cycle. There's hundreds of dungeons, hundreds of legendary items. They said there will also be sets, but they don't want sets to be as big of the focus as they were in D3. So it sounds like they probably don't want sets to necessarily be the end game, or at least they want legendaries to be more prevalent. Also, we're for the first time getting character customization visual character customization and character creation. So, well, to be fair, D3 started it. You can pick male or female. In D4, you can pick male, female, and also other visual customization options. But they still seem like they're going to be thematic. They're still going to be representative of the visual archetypes. They mentioned stuff like customizing hair, skin, jewelry. That's not really what they showed. It looked like you got to pick between certain archetypes, but that's what they mentioned. So I do wonder where they're gonna go with that. Also, people have been talking about this for a long time. Rune words. Rune words are coming back. People have been clamoring for this for a very long time, and finally, it's happening with some changes. It sounds like they want to make them more freeform. So that's interesting. It sounds like they want people to come up with their own combinations or something. So I'm interested to see how they're planning to implement rune words. We didn't get a lot of word on itemization, but from their sort of design pillars, it sounds like they do want to take an approach that allows for more customizations. They want us to come up with the builds, as opposed to in D3, it's sort of like the devs almost set what the builds are, because, well, here's a 6-piece set. It buffs these skills. These are the supporting skills, so have fun coming up with the 3 possible things you can come up with, with this combination. So it sounds like they really want the players to come up with the build ideas and not just implement what the dev's vision seems to be based on what buffs are being given from the skills, from the sets. Okay, real fast, as my camera's about to die, social hubs. There's going to be trading. Trading is back. PvP is back. So there'll be towns that'll be between these regions. They will serve as those hubs. And again, overall, it just feels like Diablo 4 is the true sequel to Diablo 2. Again, I'll be streaming it later today. Hope you can tune in for that. Tomorrow, there'll be more panels. We'll get even more details. I'll have more footage as well to share. Many videos to come. And thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube supporters for making these videos possible. If you enjoyed this video, please share it. Check out these other videos and subscribe to join Rhykkers Raiders for more Diablo content.